Linda Lavin, busy Broadway actress and star of TV's Alice, dies at 87. The Tony winner starred in Neil Simon's Last of the Red Hot Lovers and Broadway Bound and was a tireless advocate for women's rights. I had a commitment. Linda Lavin, the Tony-winning actress who spent 9 seasons serving up meals with a side order of sass as the waitress Alice Hyatt on the hit CBS sitcom Alice, died Sunday. She was 87. Lavin died unexpectedly in Los Angeles of complications from recently discovered lung cancer, her rep told The Hollywood Reporter. Hal Prince gave Lavin her first big break, pulling her out of the chorus and giving her a speaking part on Broadway in 1962, and she worked twice with Neil Simon, earning the first of her 6 career Tony nominations for playing the sexpot Elaine in 1970's Last of the Red Hot Lovers and then winning in 1987 for her turn as the strong-willed Kate in Broadway Bound. A native of Maine, Lavin had recurred as feisty Detective Janice Wentworth on the first 2 seasons of ABC's Barney Miller when she was hired in 1976 to topline Alice, created by Robert Getchell. The show was based on the Warner Brothers movie Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, 1974, written by Getchell, directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Ellen Burstyn in an Oscar-winning performance. The plucky Alice is a recently widowed mom with a young son, Philip McKeon on the series, who struggles to make ends meet as she holds down a job at Mel's Diner, a greasy spoon on the outskirts of Phoenix. Starring on Alice pulled her right into the women's movement, she recalled in a 2012 interview. "I knew it behooved me to learn about single mothers and working women," she said. "So I went to Gloria Steinem, whom I had met briefly, and she hooked me up with writers and columnists and news people who were writing about working women. I learned that Alice represented 80% of all the women who work in this country who were still struggling at 69 cents to the dollar that men were making for the same quality of work. Suddenly, I had a rhetoric, I had a commitment." Lavin marched in support of the Equal Rights Amendment and was invited to join the National Commission on Working Women. She often delivered speeches wearing her Alice waitress uniform. So she would speak for me. The actress told Charlie Rose in 1992 that she heard from women by the thousands. They were saying, thank you for showing me me, thank you for being real, thank you for showing what the issues are, thank you for giving me hope, thank you for showing me that if Alice can do it, I can do it." Lavin earned 1 Emmy nomination and 2 Golden Globes for her work on the series, which was ranked in the top 10 in the ratings in its 4th, 5th, and 6th seasons. After nearly 13 years away, Lavin made a triumphant return to the Great White Way with her portrayal of an abandoned wife and mother of Eugene, Jonathan Silverman, and Stanley, Jason Alexander, in Broadway Bound. Kate is a remarkable achievement, a Jewish mother who redefines the genre even as she gets the requisite laughs while fretting over her children's health or an unattended pot roast. Frank Rich wrote in his review for the New York Times, "One only wishes that Ms. Lavin, whose touching performance is of the same high integrity as the writing, could stay in the role forever. I'm grateful to Neil Simon for the insight of his bountiful writing, which gets me in touch with all the women I come from, all the women in me, so that I am so fulfilled to play such a wonderful character," she said in her Tony acceptance speech. Lavin was born on October 15, 1937, in Portland, Maine. Her mother, Lucille, was a coloratura soprano and radio personality who sang with Paul Whiteman's band, and her father, David, owned a furniture business. She always wanted to be an actress and graduated from the College of William and Mary as a theater arts major in 1959. She moved to New York a few months later and appeared in an off-Broadway revival of George and Ira Gershwin's OK. Lavin was in the chorus out of town in Philadelphia in a troubled show called A Family Affair when Hal Prince walked in. She recalled in a 2018 interview with Broadway World, "I'd never met him before, dynamo of a man. He pointed at me and said, 'You're terrific, I'll see you later,' and the next day he was introduced as our new director, and I got 3 speaking parts. At that time, you got $5 apiece for each speaking part. So, I was now an actor."